I forgot a picture at the last minute and you saw me add it. That's what happens with the lives. Oh, thank you for joining me. It's the first live stream of the week, and even though this is open to all subscribers to comment, I'm still going to gift 5 memberships like I do at the beginning of every week. Hold on. Will it not let me do that today? Hold on, what's happening? Oh, it's not allowing me to do a gift memberships for some reason. That's bizarre. All right, I'll look into that. Sorry, I'm not quite sure why that's going on, but I don't want to delay trying to figure it out. But anyway, again, anyone who's a subscriber is able to join in on the chat on this stream. So welcome everybody. All right, so let's get started. I think this movie's really starting to come together. I think you're seeing a lot of commentary, social commentary, just like the first one. And then also, I think the music therapy thing is definitely seems to be the case. Thanks, Jack. By the way, 80s Model was able to gift a membership. I wonder why it's not working for me. All right, so anyway, I appreciate everybody's comments about my shirt. Thank you guys. Thanks for gifting the memberships. I'll figure it out. I'll still gift memberships this week. I just have to figure out what's going on. But I saved this shirt. I actually bought this shirt a couple of months ago, but I wanted to save it for a really special day. And I think Joker 2 and Deadpool 3 Day is the perfect time to wear it. My Deadpool review will go up when the review embargo lifts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I was honored that Ryan Reynolds retweeted my review, my social media reaction that I posted last night. So it's a very, Deadpool and Wolverine is a very special movie. But I think that this might be as well. I'm so excited. All right, there's a lot for us to discuss. Thanks, MM92. Okay, all right. Sorry, I can't do anything about the siren noises once we're live. So I guess it'll just add to the Gotham type mood. All right, so we have our trailer here. What a shot of Gotham. Oh, and by the way, of course, as always, at the very end, we'll do a short Q&A because that's the benefit of doing the live trailer breakdown. So what a shot of Gotham. I love it so much. Gotham, of course, to me has always been New York City, which sometimes in history is more Gotham than not. We seem to be maybe entering another Gotham phase here. But of course, one of the most times that New York City was the most like Gotham was the 1970s. And this movie takes place 70s, 80s. I think it's supposed to be the 80s, but it's very 70s coded in my opinion. But wow, it looks just stunning. It looks stunning. Oh, it looks so good. Thanks, Eloy. I'm going to try and notice some of your comments, but I also want to be able to cook. All right, so here we go. All right, so much to discuss. All right, so we're coming into the city, and Arthur is being transported. Thank you, Jack. Now, the setup here is that for this movie is that he is awaiting, and we'll see him go on trial for what he did, at the first movie, on that talk show with Robert De Niro, right? I think a truly incredible, shocking moment. And so he obviously is going to have to go on trial for that. So he's awaiting trial. And as he is in the transport, there's somebody on the radio talking about him. And we can see what's one of the benefits of watching things with closed caption is that they tell you who's speaking. And one of you sent the screen grab to me, which I appreciated. And it's Harvey Dent, baby. Harvey Dent is talking. And he's clearly not the public representative because he's saying some very not nice things about Arthur Fleck. Now, of course, they always say there's no such thing as bad publicity, and Arthur is certainly enjoying his newfound fame. Hold on, so we'll talk about this a little bit more in a moment, but I just want to move the trailer along to these crucial moments. So at first, he's really enjoying, talking about, this Harvey Dent is saying that the people believe that Arthur Fleck is some kind of martyr. And so, he's always wanted to be famous. Comedy was sort of a way for him to pursue that. So now he's getting what he wanted. Look at that shot. This reminds me also of The Dark Knight, where they had the Gordon transport. With Harvey, I believe, right? That was great. So they're moving along here, and the guard who's transporting him is like, they're talking about you, buddy, but, not in a positive way. I think he kind of, doesn't like that Arthur's like, ooh, this is great. Don't get ahead of myself, Poke. So here, the guy says he's not. So that makes Arthur laugh uncomfortably. Remember, Todd Phillips came up with this fantastic idea that Arthur's laughter, the Joker's iconic laughter, is a psychotic tic that Arthur has. That when he's really uncomfortable and nervous and scared, he laughs. And it's done so well by Joaquin Phoenix. Now let's talk about Harvey Dent. Poke keeps talking about, will Harvey become Two-Face? I believe there's a very good chance he will. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, this is the actor, by the way, who is serving hardcore, by the way. This is Harry Lottie, who is playing Harvey Dent. He looks fantastic. I love it. And he's speaking here. And Harvey, of course, very infamously was in court when a member of the mob threw acid in his face, horribly disfiguring him and creating the character of, the criminal of Harvey Dent. Big talk from Harvey Dent about Arthur Fleck, giving this very clear-cut good and bad when it seems that perhaps Harvey will soon be joining him. However, I wouldn't be surprised if perhaps in this story, Harley and Joker are responsible for turning Harvey Dent into Two-Face. And I have a theory about that. You'll see a little bit later. I have something to maybe potentially back that up. But that's a great choice for Harvey. It's a lot different than we've seen anybody else play Harvey before. And I recently talked about the fact that they just do the Harvey Dent origin story so many times. I've seen it so many times at this point. If they were to do an upcoming Batman animated series, maybe they would do it again. And I'm like, I can't take it anymore. It's too many. But I would like to point out that this is a screen grab here from the Long Halloween, which is one of my favorite Latin Dark Victory of one of my favorite comic book stories. And that is, I think, the best, still to this day, the best depiction of the origin of Harvey Dent. And everyone's just trying to duplicate the Long Halloween. All right, so we'll bring back the Harvey and Harvey a little bit later. The Harvey stuff. All right, so Harvey Dent is saying he's not a martyr, he's a monster. All right, so, look at that. Incredible. I love that. I gotta tell you, Joaquin Phoenix's acting, it just doesn't get better than that. I mean, this is just really incredible stuff. Maybe he's true to some degree. So here he is with his adoring fans. Look at that. Look, and that guy has the Joker mask on. Now, this is something important I want to talk about. So, obviously, again, as I said, he's on trial for what he did in the first movie, okay? And obviously, he was called out for what he did to those Wayne executives on the subway. He murdered them. And obviously, that was the wrong thing to do. But I thought that what Arthur said in response, where he said, you're all so upset about what happened to these Wayne employees. But Arthur said if it had been his dead body, you would have stepped right over it, and you wouldn't have given it a second thought. And that, to me, was one of the most incredible lines ever in a film. And I think it really connected with people. I said it the same, Parasite, of course, Joker and Parasite were big awards winners that year. And I had commented it, and at first I got a little bit of heat for it, but I still stand by it, and some people came to agree with me that Parasite and Joker really had very similar messages. And that's with just, the 99% just being so angry and upset about the way they've been treated. And one of the most incredible things to happen about Joker, and one of the things that scared some people, You're like, why doesn't it scare you into acting better? And they're like, maybe that's too much to ask. But anyway, Joker, a really incredible thing, Joker in real life. These could be stills from the movie, but in fact, they're stills from real life, with many protesters around the world, particularly in South America, taking on the Joker identity because they related to it so much. Almost taking on a Guy Fawkes element to it. Of course, another anarchist from the UK, and his mask becoming so famous. And to some ways, Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker taking the mantle or taking the baton away from Guy Fawkes. Now, the reason I want to bring this up, which is so incredible, is that I believe that they're taking the Harley Quinn character and having her represent this. She is in the crowd, and Joker speaks to her just like he does to everybody else. Although Harley has some extra special things that we're going to talk about. But really incredible stuff. And to do that with Harley Quinn's character, I think, is quite brilliant to have her reflect that. All right, so he's like, oh, look at that. Everybody loves him. He's got quite a lot of fans for a murderer. So there's Harley. Now, she does look a little bit like a patient, but I do believe that she is in charge of music therapy, as I'd heard. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get to her later in the trailer. But here she's talking about the first time that she saw Joker. She's, oh, wow. I love that, by the way. Oh, what a flirt. So she says, the first time that I saw Joker, for once in my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore. And I think a number of people felt that way. Harley, so she's watching him on this TV, and look, he blows a kiss. The beginning of their love affair, right there. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes and applies to Arkham to work in music therapy, just like the real life Harley did. I think it's a really smart move that she's not necessarily a psychiatrist, but having her be a music therapist, I think, is just, a really wonderful twist and makes this its own thing. So he blows the kiss, and she breaks, in Fly Me to the Moon, they have another sequence where Scarlett Johansson breaks a window with a garbage can. I don't really know if garbage cans are heavy enough. Maybe they used to be to break glass. But I think, she just takes the TV. Part of me feels she takes it because it's a memento of him blowing that kiss. But I also think it speaks to people being tired of just not having enough. So often people get upset about looting. And obviously looting is very dangerous and destructive. But I think people don't think enough about where looting comes from. I think that looting comes from the idea of people just being sick and tired of not having anything and being denied and ignored by society. And they reach a breaking point where they feel that nobody is ever going to help them or care about them, so they just decide to look out for themselves. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about people who loot. We've seen recent shoplifting gangs, flash mobs. That's not the same thing. I'm talking about rioting and looting in the wake of these horrific events. And I think that, this movie dares to take the perspective of a group that has so historically been vilified by the media and the powers that be, because, they fear the mob, instead of being like, why is there a mob? And so really, really important. So I think the commentary, you would think, how could you copy the commentary how could you follow up the commentary from the first movie? And you're like, you found a way. You found a way to do it. It's just absolutely incredible. So she's like, I'm taking this TV. She didn't even take the big one, thank you very much. She just took enough for herself. So you can see he's just really tortured, very vulnerable. But then he's got his suit of armor on, literally. One of my favorite new shots in the trailer. Oh, what? This is a very different Sound of Music. Remember in the Sound of Music, Julie Andrews would show them the way and make them all these great things and take them on outings. Well, it looks like their music therapist is about to take them on a very different type of outing, and she's about to start a major fire. I'd also like to point out, by the way, that Lady Gaga is the music advisor for the film as well, and I think she has done an incredible job picking the songs for this. And we'll talk a little bit about the singing when we get to it. All right? But just here, Look at that. So she, oh, wow. Oh, she looks so great. I can't believe it. I'm telling you right now, I feel this is going to be my favorite Harley Quinn. Well, I really, Margot Robbie, I really want to be respectful of the popularity that she brought to the character, but she was in many ways so not Harley Quinn. This is bringing Harley Quinn back to what Harley Quinn has always been. So look, she lights the piano on fire. The piano! During music therapy class. Oh, it's so great. All right? And look, Joker's leading her out. I like the dynamic between the two of them. I'm worried a little bit that she's manipulating him. But I would love it if, because Arthur Fleck is just such an innocent person in this interpretation of him. Just such a sad, horribly pained individual. But I would like to think there's some truth to their romance. So look at that. So, speaking of romance, the projector for the movie and the fire on the piano. Think about, by the way, the Billy Joel song, "We Didn't Start the Fire," which I believe, did it have a piano on fire now that I think about it? I believe also from the 80s. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. But that's just like one of my favorite shots. I mean, it's just pure artistry. Cinema, music, destruction, love. I almost wish this was coming out for Valentine's Day, but I think obviously they don't want to mess with the first film's release, which also was very successful, very well poised for Oscars as well. Oh, so romantic. All right, so here he's watching, as you can see, a Looney Tunes, not only from Warner Brothers, but not just any Looney Tunes. He's watching Pepe Le Pew, who of course also fell in love. But here, he's singing to himself. And I think this is really important. Now, it seems like this is going to be a musical. And, I don't know Joaquin Phoenix can sing. He, of course, was in the Johnny Cash story. And we know Lady Gaga can sing. But I like the idea of them not necessarily being these incredible singers, because I think it makes it more relatable. Who doesn't sometimes sing to themselves, right? I think we almost all do. Who doesn't sometimes, I don't know if you do this, but I'll often, when I'm listening to music, I'll think of it like the soundtrack of my life, and I'll just get wrapped up in it, and you're out in the world, it adds like a new heightened level to your own experiences. And the other thing that's fascinating to me is that music, like comedy, is a shared experience, a shared emotional experience. So it's a fabulous parallel. And also, I'd also like to point out that she is his music therapist, and music seems to be helping him. He is using music in a therapeutic way. I don't know if maybe Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn is the best influence on him, but she certainly, from a societal standpoint, but in terms of his blossoming as this leader, as a martyr, I think she is helping in that regard. All right. So incredible. Such incredible stuff. So he's singing about having found love, which, of course, remember, he's never had. Brendan Gleeson, fabulous actor. Obviously, I think these sessions in the courtyard where they talk are going to be very powerful. He says, do you feel like you're still a sir? I wonder what he means by that. Do you still think you're a member of society or something? I'll be curious to what that means. Maybe Brendan Gleeson's representing a different kind of everyman who still aspires to law and order. That's also fascinating, right? All right, perhaps two influences on Arthur, the security guard and the music therapist. And this is a very important moment because he says showtime, and I believe he's going into the courtroom. How interesting would it be to present the courtroom as another type of stage, just like when he was on this talk show? That, to me, is another fascinating parallel. Obviously, they're not the same, but to Arthur, they are, because they're both televised. They've decided to televise this trial, as we've seen some recent trials also be televised. And so everybody else feels this is a trial, but to Arthur, it's another opportunity to be on a stage, this huge platform. So that's incredible. Oh, did he say star? That's what you guys are saying. The guard said star instead of sir. That's why, you got to, I guess, watch these with the sometimes I don't like watching with closed captioning. I know it's very popular these days to watch with closed captioning, but I think too often closed captioning gives away the next line before it happens. And that is anticlimactic to me. But I guess I should be watching the trailer the second time with the subtitles so I can make sure I see it. All right, so thank you for the clarification. One of the benefits of doing the live breakdown. All right. So back to the trailer. Now, there you can see he certainly got himself an audience. Now, this is really interesting to me. Hold on. So I love that moment with the music swells. We get a professional singer in there. Oh, you can see, by the way, that she's got Joker makeup on there. Yeah, isn't that great? The beginning of her transformation. Beautiful. All right, so look at this. This is really crucial. So he's in, blowing smoke there. So look, this is an incredibly important reference. Here he's doing this. This is a direct reference for sure to Nixon. Nixon, when he resigned, this is a very famous photo of Nixon's resignation. When Nixon was leaving the White House for the last time, getting onto Marine One, and this was his parting shot. And this is what he decided to do. He left under horrific circumstances. He had to resign from the office. That was a deal that was made that they would not pursue charges against him if he left. But look at him. He's acting as if it's a victory. He's smiling himself. And, the song, that when you smile, the whole world smiles with you. So I guess it's talking about spin. But that's just absolutely fantastic, And, by the way, Nixon should have known better, but Arthur's mentally ill. And I think it speaks very much to Arthur, perhaps he's mimicking Nixon because Nixon left before this trial would have taken place. So really, just absolutely incredible. All right. So I just think that's a really fantastic call out. I appreciate that kind of sophistication, by the way. This is a comic book movie. It doesn't have to go this hard. And the fact that it does, all comic book movies don't have to, but I think DC in particular, because it's a more serious brand, I really like when they loop in real world events. All right, so look at him. I love it. Like, there's Arkham. What a shot of Arkham. City on a hill to a degree. Isn't that incredible? City on a hill. All right, so there he is back in court. Oh, I love this stuff. This is great. Now look at this. This isn't as good a shot as the first trailer, but I really wanted to show you this, okay? Here at the prosecution's table, it seems that the lead attorney has been shot. I do wonder, again, if that's Harvey Dent. Let me get back. Let me get the Harvey photo back. I do wonder if that's Harvey. And because if he had been shot, he could survive, but it could very much mess up one side of his face instead of the acid. I think that would potentially work. Or it could be still acid. But I do wonder if that might be the case, because it does seem to be, and she is using that blood. Maybe it's Harvey Dent's blood. But I do believe that is the lead prosecutor at the prosecution table that's down. So that I thought he'd just been killed when I saw the teaser, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the creation of Harvey Dent. Incredible. All right. So he's given his own speech, right? He's gone full Joker. He has his crowd. He has his audience. And look, the guard is, not particularly enjoying it. He's like, what have we, this is not going very well. So Arthur Fleck trial, live testimony. There he is. Here he's giving a televised interview. Something else that we see so often today. The interviewer is played by one of my favorite comedians, Steve Coogan. I love Steve Coogan, so I'm very excited to see this sequence for that alone. But you can see they're filming an interview. And here they are getting to their fans. Oh, that's just amazing. So we've seen that shot before. This is also amazing. Harley Quinn leveling up. And some people say, oh, well, the closed captioning says that her name is Lee. Well, it's for Harley. because they've already, on social media, on Twitter, they've created the hashtags. And Joker and Joker 2 and Joker Folie Deux, but also Harley Quinn all get the official hashtag like little emoji. So it's definitely Harley Quinn. She looks incredible. She just could not look better, in my opinion. And this, of course, mimics the Joker shot in the elevator from the first movie. Now here we go back to the talk show, which now has almost become a variety show or a game show, and of course that's so Joker, right? So now it's the Joker and Harley show, and here they are, and this was my favorite new moment in the trailer. And he says, I have the suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want. And I love that she calms him down. And look at that. I love her makeup, by the way. Her makeup just looks incredible. She's got the blue eyeshadow as well. I love the hair. And she says, all right, baby, let's give them what they want. It was just such a great, it was, to me, I just couldn't think of a more perfect Joker Harley moment. Now, the question is, she is his enabler, protector, his manipulator, potentially all three. But it's just, that is veracity. Sonny and Cher is a good comparison as well. They had a very famous variety show themselves. But that's just amazing. And look, he's loving it. He's loving it. Oh, look at that. Look at her face. She does look like, she's scary herself. Because, is she proud of him? Is she like, look what I'm able to do? I mean, it's amazing. Look at him. He's eating it all up. He's eating it up with a spoon. And by the way, I would like to point out that Cher became more popular than Sonny. But Sonny did go on to become, I believe he was a congressman. Was he a senator or a congressman? But then, of course, he tragically passed away in that skiing accident. All right, but that's just amazing. It's just such an incredible. So I just can't get enough of that. Her acting. I hope she does get nominated. I don't think that Lady Gaga gets enough respect as an actress. I know that House of Gucci ended up being a horrible movie by the time it was done, but I think a big problem with it was that she faded out of the third act. She was incredible in House of Gucci. She did an amazing job. She doesn't get enough credit for that performance. I hope that people respect her here. So it looks like this show is going out with a bang. And so look, when she's saying give the people what they want. So here she is, also full Harley Quinn going up the courthouse steps. This is a little One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? Revolt at Arkham. And look at this. This is just like those protest shots that I just showed you, brought to life. I wonder if Todd Phillips saw those. I'm sure he did. And it inspired this part, perhaps this scene in the movie, that what if Joker ran into these individuals himself? At some point, a movement moves sometimes beyond the person who started it, and sometimes out of their control, potentially sometimes into the control of someone else, maybe like Harley Quinn. Maybe she's Eva Peron. So I think those are all things to consider. Harley understands it's a movement. Harley, I think, understands all those elements, but I don't know if Joker does. Joker is visceral. Arthur Fleck is visceral. I think he's not planning any of this. He's just enjoying the ride and speaking his truth, and he's so happy to finally be recognized for that. So that's a big difference between the two of them. And he's literally running from his supporters. Now this, to me, obviously, with this judge, this obviously mirrors what went down with Robert De Niro's talk show host Murray in the first movie. This, to me, I'm surprised they put it in the trailer, in fact, because it was so shocking to have it in the first, to witness it in the theater with the first movie. But you can see he's got the gavel and he strikes the judge. There must be something even bigger in the actual movie. I'm a little nervous, just like the first film. They're premiering this at the Venice Film Festival. I hope there aren't very big spoilers that leak. That is going to be like a full month, like a month and a half before it hits theaters. So that's... Tenerife says that's not a gavel, that's Harley Quinn's weapon. It does seem kind of big. Do you think Harley brought that with her? I don't know. I don't know if that's Harley's mallet. It doesn't seem that big. We'll see. All right. Very shocking. moment in the trailer for sure. All right, so here we are back in the show. They seem to have another performance, another evening. And look at this. Boy, talk about putting on a show. I love the way that the vulgarity in their dancing. You know, they're just going all in. I mean, I love it. I just think it's fantastic. And it seems like this is a fantasy sequence because you can see in the background there, it's totally blacked out. So that to me seems very much like another stage. All right. So Joker Folie Deux, which is, you know, is that the end? Yeah. Oh no, we had this little bit. Hold on. This is important. Okay, so we got this little stinger at the end where she's singing, she's telling him to sing, and one of you actually sent this to me, and I really appreciated you pointing this out because I was able to include it in the breakdown. All right, so big thanks to William Blake, who said, what's wild about the Get Happy song that Gaga speaks at the very end is that I will always associate it with Judy Garland's surreal performance in the 1951 film Summer Stock. I've got a still from it there. If you've not seen that scene, it's a must-catch for any Judy Garland fan. Now, what's really fascinating about this is that not only is this a famous Judy Garland song, but Judy Garland was infamous for not being happy and for being extremely tortured, but yet putting on a happy face for a legion of people who she spoke to who also were having a difficult time. You know, and also very much so the LGBT community, but many, many people. And of course, Lady Gaga is also an icon to that community. So it is a perfect choice of the song, not only for those reasons, but as the song continues, all right, this is what's so amazing about it. There's a very important song, which is not just about Get Happy, but she says, get ready for the judgment day. And he sings along with her. And of course, and look, that brings a seriousness to him. And then look, he looks back. Ah, wow, wow. I think, again, not only because they're falling in love, but because they both know what they have to do. Now, I do believe that her bringing up Judgment Day in this song, through this song, is manipulative. Who even knows if Arthur was thinking of a Judgment Day? But she certainly put the idea in his head with song. So that to me is absolutely incredible. And let's not forget, of course, you just reminded me, you know, Marco just said execution. You just reminded me very much of the French Revolution. Joaquin Phoenix having just starred in Napoleon. But the French Revolution was really the 99% being just, you know, feeling they just couldn't take it anymore with the let them eat cake leadership. And that was probably one of the most bloody and shocking revolutions in history. Particularly how effective it was in taking down the 1%. You know, oftentimes there's revolution and it does affect some change, but I've never seen the 1% fall like they did in the French Revolution. And yet no one seems to ever learn from that. I'm always shocked. I'm like, hey, man, remember the French Revolution? And people are like, what are you talking about? That couldn't happen again. And you're like, aren't you living through history? Like, we live through historical events these days every week or every month or certainly a couple of times a year. And you don't think the French Revolution could repeat itself? What are you smoking, man? All right. So incredible stuff. Incredible. So that's the trailer. 10-4, 24. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I hope, you know, it's difficult for a sequel. My hope is that this is like The Godfather. Godfather 1 and 2, unusual films to get lots of attention, but yet both got a lot of praise and Oscars and were very highly lauded. So I'm excited. All right, so it's the Q&A. So thank you so much for joining me for this. It's the Q&A section now. We'll do 5 minutes of Q&A. It's 11:56, so we'll go to 12:01, and then I've got to work on my Deadpool and Wolverine review. That embargo lifts at 6 p.m. tonight. Let's see here. E says the dress that she's wearing on the vulgar stair dancing scene is surely a Courtney Love reference, with Joker being Kurt Cobain. Well, that would be very telling if it was E, because of course there's a lot of controversy over Courtney Love and how she treated Kurt Cobain. That would be, I mean, I don't know how Courtney Love would feel about that, but that would be an amazing reference. Haunted Autumn says it seems they are inverting the Joker Harley dynamic and making Harley the manipulator abuser. Will this create backlash? I hope not. This is an Elseworld story. I hope people are open to that. I mean, I think people, hopefully the groups that would be most offended by that would understand that it was showing that men can be abused and showing them in a sympathetic light. I think that's important, and I would hope that people would, if that was the case in the film, I hope that they would, that would matter to them. You guys want a poll? Okay, hold on. I'll put the poll in. What did you think of the trailer? Brilliant. Looks pretty good. Still not sold. And then finally, not for me. Who would click not for me? Who would click it? Who? I love being able to have these philosophical, intellectual discussions. It's so fun. All right, hold on. Anybody, I mean, if you're a subscriber, you just have to click the subscribe button to join the chat, but anyone can cast a vote. All right, let's see here. Jake says, with the Nixon reference, could Arthur be resigning from being the Joker in exchange for charges being dropped, causing his supporters to riot? I don't think so, because I believe that's at the beginning of the courtroom scene. He doesn't have his makeup on at that point. So, no, I just think it's a Nixon reference. But an interesting question. Marco says, what snack should I bring to Deadpool and Wolverine tomorrow? Well, Marco, if you're going tomorrow, you got to try and get that popcorn bucket. You know, I think it's that's a lot of fun. If not, otherwise I would go with peanut M&Ms. Because he keeps calling Deadpool keeps calling Wolverine Peanut. I love that. I'm going to get peanut M&Ms when I see it again this weekend. I didn't think of that. That's definitely what I'm going to do. Thank you for that question. I'm going to put that in my... Hold on, I got to make a note. I'm going to put that in my review. Okay. And you shouldn't usually drink sugary beverages, but treat yourself to a fizzy soda. Dr. Long Monkey says, how much do you think this movie will make? I'm a little nervous about the $1 billion. I'm enamored with it, but I think the musical and perhaps some of these changes might be difficult. But I'm hoping it makes $1 billion yet again. Jamie says, do you think this should have come out next week? No, this is to play in front of Deadpool and Wolverine, and I think this trailer should play in front of Deadpool and Wolverine. Steve Quantanilla says, watching this trailer made me feel emotional, got goosebumps, and I had to hold back tears. I can already tell I'm going to cry in this movie. It looks beautiful. Arun says, Grace, is there a recent movies marketing campaign you'd recommend this movie copy? The first one, the first Joker. I think they're doing a great job advertising this film. I have no problems with the advertisements for this. Vera, I hope this movie is good as the trailer as well. But I have a lot of faith in Todd Phillips. And so far, he's showing me that faith is well placed. Danny says there is a rumor that Gaga might campaign for supporting actress. I'll do 10 minutes of trailer, of questions. I'll do till 12:06. That Lady Gaga might be campaigning for supporting. Well, the reason, you get to pick if you want to be supporting or lead. And occasionally the Academy might take issue with it, but they rarely do. I don't think that she would be as competitive and lead. I think that supporting is the place for her to go. I mean, Heath Ledger won for supporting for his Joker. So I think that, and also I like the idea of framing her as a supporting character and that this is still Joker's movie. So I'm very happy with that. I just want her to win. I definitely want her to be nominated, and I'd really like her to win. Ty says, I'll stop repeating it when the narrative stops being pushing that Gaga Harley is more comics accurate than Margot. It is true. Ty, you're mistaken. The comic book pigtails and things like that were brought in because of the movie. David Ayer created that version of Harley Quinn, and it was so popular that they changed the character in the comics to mirror that. So this is more comics accurate, for sure. No disrespect to the other version. I've come to, particularly because of the current animated series, I've come to like that version very much as well. But this is more Batman animated series accurate. This is the most accurate. Let's put I don't know. I don't want to fight about it because it would just be wrong if you voted the other one was comics accurate as well. Sorry. Paul says, I'm starting to think making this musical was actually a brilliant idea. Me too, Paul. I'm amazed. Crunchy Scarf says, I'm surprised at the restraint in showing Gaga. I think they should be careful about, Emmanuel, the video game was also very influential as well. I would agree with that. But still, the pink and the blue, that was all David Ayer and Margot Robbie. But Crunchy Scarf, I think that I would suspect that Lady Gaga has learned her lesson from A Star is Born and The House of Gucci. I think she's very, very much learned, to dial it down and let the work speak for itself. And that's great. We love someone who can take a note. And you never have to acknowledge the note. You just have to make the change. That's really important. And I'm very happy for her. Thanks, Toria. What a nice thing to say. Hani says, did you like the Batman and Harley Quinn animated film? I did not care for it. All right, let me end the poll. All right, so 55% of you only thought it was brilliant. Fascinating. 34% say it looks pretty good. Although that's most of you are still positive about it to some degree. 6% of you are still not sold, and only 3% don't like it. So, like 90% of you are good looking forward to it. Max, I would agree that Margot Robbie is far superior as Barbie. I'm thrilled to pieces that she got that role, and she produced the hell out of it as well. She is a wonderful Barbie. And her Harley Quinn was crucial to the development of the character. I think that she deserves a lot of credit for that. Margot Robbie is the Joe Biden of Harley Quinn. She did a wonderful job, elevating that character. But when the time came, she realized it was time to step down so that Lady Gaga, a new generation's Harley Quinn, could step up. That's what I would say, because Margot Robbie has made just wonderful comments about she's always seen other actresses being able to play Harley Quinn, and she's very supportive of that. So that was, I think, is really nice. Let's see here. Dad Boy says, do you think this is a chance at 1 billion, especially with Central American audiences identifying with the film? I hope so. I think there's a lot of unrest. Heck, this is going to be coming out in the midst of our presidential election. I can't think of a better time for this movie to come out. Aaron says, I've just read Civil War comic event. What next? Why don't you go read The Long Halloween and Dark Victory to get ready for this? Thank you for gifting a membership, Paralysis. Let's see here. Maxwell, they gave us the Wolverine popcorn bucket for free last night, so I don't know how much it is. But if also the soda cups and the popcorn bags, I'm sure will all be themed. So don't feel like you have to spend the money to have a good time. Just, I gotta tell you honestly, instead of getting the popcorn bucket for Deadpool and Wolverine, I would, I'll go back and try and find it in a second, Morphed. But instead of buying the popcorn bucket for Deadpool and Wolverine, I would see the movie again. That's a better use of your money if you have a limited budget. Harlequin Dove says, in most movies, the hero ultimately wins. Since this is an Elseworlds, do you think the villains are the ultimate victors? That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. I think that this movie is trying to point out that it's not so clear-cut, and that maybe while their actions are wrong, you should pay attention to the motivations of villains. And that, to me, is a very important message. I mean, what they did in Parasite was wrong. But, that's what's really important to it. Morphed, I'm trying to go and find your comment. Brandon says, love Gaga. Where should she go next? I'd love to see her work with Peele or Wes Anderson. I'm not sure. I think she'd be a good fit with Scorsese. That's who I think she would really work with. Poke says, will Beetlejuice 2 or Joker 2 open with more money? Joker 2. Although I think Beetlejuice 2 might be really big. I have a friend who told me they were going to the first showing of the day because they're so excited for Beetlejuice 2, which made me more excited. Jen says, hey, Grace, I'd love it if it went White Knight for Joker 2. That's interesting. You know, Jen, I think you also put this on, I think you commented on the reaction video. I saw you comment this here somewhere else, or maybe it was on Twitter. But yes, that's a great Elseworlds comic as well. And if you're looking for something to read, that's also a love letter to the animated series. It's like an Elseworlds continuation of that. The White Knight and its sequels, that's also an incredible comic. Morphed says, this film, oh, I found it, Morphed. This film is a musical, which isn't shown. Will audiences feel angry later on? I think this trailer did show that it was a musical. I think that it did. I think this is the kind of musical that it will be. You know, I don't think it's going to go all the way, which is, I think, important. All right, I think I got most of the comments. I don't want to go for too long with this. And as I said, I've got to work on my Deadpool and Wolverine review. Tons of Deadpool and Wolverine content coming later this week. I'm going to have my review go up today, and then when the movie drops on Thursday night here in the United States, oh, here comes the spoiler content. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And it'll be the same situation in October with Joker. All right, thank you so much for joining me for this. It feels great to be back in a world where we're excited about comic book movies instead of, nervous and trying to apologize for them. All right, thank you again, and I'll see you later today. Again, that Deadpool and Wolverine embargo lifts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in about 6 hours from right now. Okay, bye,